God bless you. Welcome back to my page. My name is Onyajoy Kali. In today's um, discussion, we are going to look into this word or this question that people normally ask. Some people often ask and said, how do I know if I have a call? How will one know that he or she is having a call? Call, you know, when you say call, we all normally think of opening a ministry or being a pastor or being a leader in a particular church or the founder, or like we normally call it, we say GO, the general overseer of a particular church, that someone is having a call. But call, what is a call? When you say you have a call means that you're a messenger from above. God had called you to lead a particular sect of people in a particular field. Because when you talk of calling, even the doctors, they are in their offices answering their own call. The nurses are the same. Do you know that it is the call of God in their lives? So calling is not necessarily that you must open a ministry or you open a church when they say you have a call, but mostly that's where we normally target. When they say you have a call, your mind will go there straight. And because of that, some people have made a mistake. Some people who open a ministry today, some people who are called pastors today are not called to be there. I'm sorry to say that some who are called, some who have open ministries, who are operating in so many places are not called to do so. Yeah, I know someone will be telling me now, Bible said, where 2 or 3 are gathered, that I'm in their midst. That is the word of God. But not when it comes to opening a ministry. Because once you open a ministry, you are the GO, you are the founder. It means that you're a leader. And leaders are called by God. When you are called to open a ministry, God had given you a grace to lead that field. He has given you the grace, the backup for you to do that particular thing. But today we are looking at ministers, we are looking at calling or callers as a minister of God. Are you really called in that your field? That's what you must ask yourself. Yes. But we are trying to find out, how will we know if we are really called to open a church or to open a ministry? When you ask some people this question, they will tell you that my pastor said I have a call. Or he went somewhere and they tell him that he have a call. Or he or she was dreaming. He dreamt where he was praying for people in the dream, and when he woke up, he said that he is having a call. The next thing is that you go and hire a place and you open a ministry and start to function there as a minister of God. The pastor who told you that you're having a ministry is not lying. It might be what he has seen that he's telling you. But even if someone has told you that you have a ministry, you need to go to God and pray. You need to go to God and pray and make sure that God has spoken to you on the area of your calling, what you ought to do and what you're supposed not to do. Because calling is not only for pastors. When you say you have a call, in the church of God, there are so many calling there. But everybody wants to go and open a ministry, even when God is not instructing you to do so. If they say you have a call, go to God in prayers, and God will define the kind of your calling. Do you know that a music minister is also answering his or her own calling as a minister, as a gospel minister? Yes, it's a big ministry. Do you know that intercessor is a ministry? is a very big ministry. Do you know that prayer warriors or prayer band is a ministry? There are so many ministries that people are not even looking at. Do you know that giving is a ministry? Giving, yes. A lot of ministries are in under the church of God, but people are not looking at that. Do I say it's a mistake of some people who are counseling people? I don't know. Because most of the times you will see them telling you that, hey, I see God using you powerfully. I'm seeing God using you in an extraordinary way. You are powerful. You are this. And when they tell you that, if you are not careful, if you are not humble in the spirit, you think that everything is already there. No. Calling or being a pastor or especially being a man of a leader in a church, that you're a GO of a church, it's not a small task. It's not butter and bread. It's not what you decide by yourself and say, let me go and do it. Because a time of test will come. A time of wilderness will come. A time that... So if your pastor tells you that you have a call, the pastor is not lying. But what I'm saying is that you need to go and ask God and let God talk to you. For you to understand the nature of your calling. If you are meant to have a ministry, God will tell you. That's the only thing I'm talking about. Most people who open a ministry are not called to open a ministry. A lot of them are not called to open a ministry. In fact, a lot of people who say that they are prophets are not prophets. Prophets are very few in this our dispensation. Quote me right. Prophets are very, very few. A lot of people who say they are prophets are not prophets. They are just prophetic. They are not prophets. They are prophetic. A prophet are born. They are not made. Prophets are few. Most people, millions of people are just prophetic. They are not prophets. Yes. So make sure that anything you are doing pertaining to ministry, pertaining open of a ministry, that God has spoken to you. You have to go and pray. Pray earnestly and let God define your calling, tell you the nature of your calling. Because when they tell you that you have a call and you jump into a ministry, a time will come. I call it a time of wilderness. There's a time that will come. A time of test. A time that your faith will be tested. You know, when it came to the time of Jesus, the Bible said that Jesus shouted, Eli, Eli. He called the Father. And he said, why thou have you forsaken me? That time will come in the life of every man of God or woman of God. That time will come. If one is not careful, it's a dangerous time. So if you are not called, the grace is not there to back you up. Calling or answering a call or opening a ministry is not business. It's not butter and bread. It's a call for sacrifice. It's a call of determinations. The genuine people who are called by God are even running away, giving God excuses. And a lot of people are diving into it. They want to answer the call. They want to open a ministry. It's not a business. If God did not call you to open a ministry, please close it. And if you are not convinced about it, pray more. Let God speak to you. Because calling is not a business. Calling is not your decision. It is the call of God upon your life for you to lead people into the promised land. Read the account of Moses. See what Moses passed through. It's because he was called. Yet at the end, you know what happened to him. You know the story very well. So calling is not butter and bread. Because a time will come, if you're not careful, they will lead you to a place. Let me go and show you a place that you make it. You'll be able to make it. You know, when you hear stories that people are... The reason why you must go and ask from God is this. There is no man that God called into a ministry as a leader that God will not talk to. Check the life of Abraham in the book of Genesis chapter 12. God spoke to him and said, leave your kindred and go to a place I will show you. A land that is filled with milk and honey. The Bible made us to understand that as a result of his faithfulness, God made covenant with him. That same God is still speaking up to today. God spoke to Jeremiah in the book of Genesis, Jeremiah chapter 1. God spoke to him that anywhere the sole of your feet should touch, you will dominate. Why was God saying that God was calling him into a ministry? There's no one that God will call as a leader that God will not dialogue and talk with that person. Yes, even in the now, anyone, woman of God or man of God, will always have a word, will always have something to tell you that this is what God told me. This is what God told me. So if your pastor have told you that you have a call, the pastor may not lie. Is what he saw is telling you, but you need to go back to God and let God speak to you. There's a word you must hold from God. This is what God told you. This is what God has spoken to you. When God met Moses in the burning bush, God talked to him. Isn't that? So God, that same God is still speaking today. If you have opened a ministry and you are not sure, please go back to God and have a word from him to make sure that what you are answering, that is from God. When God called Samuel did not even know that God was calling him. He ran to Eli, and Eli said, I'm not the one calling you. If that voice call you again, answer. Let me tell you something. Before your pastor will tell you that you have a call, yes, it must not be like the pastor is pushing you. You too supposed to know. Yes, you too supposed to know that God is calling you into a ministry, into his work, and you will hear from him. If you are not sure of that, you need to pray before you move ahead. Don't jump into a ministry and open a ministry because it's not a business. This is the business of God. When you want to open a ministry, you are already sacrificed. You are a messenger. God had called you, dedicate you for that particular service, and you are a sacrificial lamb. You have to do